All right, guys, today in front of me from Bardstown Bourbon Company, we have their Discovery Series number 8. Now, this is a blended whiskey that comes in at 114.1 proof. It is said that this is the company's most complex creation to date. So it starts with a blend of 4 different whiskeys, which we will get into later. And to top that, it uses 5 different staves to create a very unique mash bill. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look and see what's inside this Discovery Series number 8. So it starts with a 66% 12-year Kentucky whiskey. Mash bill is 78% corn, 10% rye, 12% malted barley. Followed up by 17% 7-year Indiana rye, which is 45% corn, 51% rye, and 4% malted barley. Followed up by an 11% 12-year Ontario 100% corn whiskey. Very, very unique there. And last is a 6% of a 6-year Indiana rye. Mash bill on that one is 95% rye, 5% malted barley. So very interesting blend of whiskeys in there. But again, to make it even more unique, let's take a look at the 5 different staves they use in this blend. So they start with a 45% French oak double toast stave, followed up a 25% of a spice rack stave, followed up by 20% of a high vanilla, and then 5% of a Rioja, and 5% of a charred barrel stave. So all of those staves combined, again, are going into this blend, the 4 different whiskeys, the 5 different staves. I have a feeling it's going to give a very unique profile, and can't wait to get into it, guys. So without further ado, let's go. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the nose on this one. So one of the first things I get, there's a deep, dark kind of richness to this one. This is a very deep, dark caramel, and then followed up by, there's a lot of oakiness on this one. There's like some char that I get in there too, a little bit further into the glass. And then a little bit further away from the glass, I do pick up like a hint of some like maple syrup. All that kind of, to me, indicates that there's definitely, again, there's some of that age that's in here. And all of the whiskeys that I had mentioned in there, I mean, the youngest was, 6 years. So, a decent age on that one, but you can definitely pick up some of the darker side on this one. There's so further into the glass with some of that oak and char, there's a beautiful espresso note in there, which, I don't get a lot of coffee notes on a lot of things, but there is, further into the glass, there is definitely some espresso that's present there. I do, but there's also some sweetness that's further away. So it's like the deep darkness is kind of further in, and then further away, it's like a toasted marshmallow, which is, it's really nice. So it's got some of that sweetness and then some dark, heavy spice, like spicy characters to it. But yeah, the oak and the char in there, that sweetness from like a toasted marshmallow. And yeah, again, further in, you pick up an espresso note in there. It's very, very present. And then again, so further away too from the glass, not only on top of that toasted marshmallow, but there is like a dark chocolate aroma there that's starting to form as it starts to open up a little bit more. Definitely on the darker side of things. Besides that sweetness coming from that toasted marshmallow, I don't really get anything. I mean, again, there's a little bit of caramel, a little bit of vanilla in there. Those are kind of some undertones, though. There's definitely some depth to this one. But yeah, again, there's that, a lot of oak tannins. There's that char, some toasted marshmallow, some dark chocolate a little bit further away from the glass, some espresso further in. Now, I could nose this all day. This is great. Let's go ahead and get to the palate, guys. Cheers. Jesus Christ, that is ridiculously good. So one of the first things that I get is a really nice initial burst of spice. Definitely some rye spice right there on the middle of the palate. Definitely a longer finish on this one. Definitely some black pepper there going towards the back. Front of the palate is like that toasted marshmallow that I picked up on the nose. A lot of sweetness, like a toasted marshmallow, some vanilla there on the front of the palate. Middle of the palate, there's that espresso note that I got on the nose. And it's all over the center of the palate, kind of mingling in there with some of those rye spices. Not necessarily the grain, but the spiciness of that rye. Do get some black pepper there, some black peppercorns there at the back of the palate into the finish. The finish is still going medium to long. Yeah, that just initial burst of rye was it wasn't too much, but it was really nice. And then that espresso note kind of started to evolve there on the middle of the palate. That toasted marshmallow sweetness with some vanilla there on the front. It was good for a sip. Let's get a second one. There's a ton of spices on this. So something very unique, and I don't know if anybody out there has had a bird's eye chili pepper before, but it's spicy and very fruity. It's a very fruit flavored pepper, but again, very, very spicy. This reminds me of that. It has all different kinds of spices. There's some nutmeg going on there on the middle of the palate with that espresso, the rye, the rye that's there, the spices, the black pepper there at the end. And I pick up a little bit of like a walnut, some nuttiness there in the back as well with that black pepper. And that finish just lingers on, man. I would say it's a pretty long finish. It was medium, in that medium to long range, but definitely on the longer side. Just sits there, just continues to go down. Do pick up on the front of the palate there with some of that toasted marshmallow and some of that vanilla. It was like almost like a burnt fruit a little bit there. I can't really identify what it is right now, but it almost kind of gives me that like it's some kind of a burnt or toasted fruit there, along with that sweetness from the toasted marshmallow and the vanilla. Man, god damn, this is good. There's so many spices. I don't even know if I could pick out all the spices in this one. Again, definitely some nutmeg, and again, something that was very, very unique that I've never had in anything I've ever drank was that bird's eye chili pepper. Again, very fruity and spicy. I really, really get that there on the middle of the palate. That espresso, that nutmeg there on the middle. Let's get into the last sip, guys. Cheers. Yeah, now there on the front of the palate, I start to pick up some cinnamon there too. So it's like some cinnamon, some kind of like burnt fruit, some toasted marshmallow on the front. In the middle of the palate, rye spices still kind of going crazy. Espresso, that bird's eye chili pepper, the fruity and spiciness from that. And then back into the finish again, some of that, like some black peppercorn. A little hint of a walnut there. Definitely some nuttiness there towards the back of the palate and into the finish as it slowly kind of just lingers and lingers and lingers. Man, so yeah, just the mix of spices that come from this. It's so unique. It's so unique, and I was surprised that I didn't pick up any corn on the palate, with there being a 100% corn whiskey in here, and then a 78% corn, I believe, on one of the mash bills at Kentucky whiskey. I'm not getting any corn influence on here. It is very spice driven. Not so much sweetness, except for like a little bit on the front of the palate. Again, that toasted marshmallow, some vanilla there. So again, not a ton of sweetness, but it's like it's sweet, and then like right in the middle of the palate, it gets to like deep dark, again, spiciness, espresso, the spices there, that bird's eye chili pepper, and then into the back, you get like some nuttiness, almost along with a little bit of oak there as well, some like walnut, some oak. And then that black peppercorn, just slowly kind of lingering on with the finish. This is, I would agree with the company's statement saying that this is one of the most complex creations to date. I really want to spend some more time with this because I feel that the flavors just continue to develop and continue to evolve. This is a very complex and very, very complex whiskey. Has a lot of depth of flavor to it that just, kind of appear here and there. I really have to sit and really just take down a lot of tasting notes to actually really pull out everything that's inside this whiskey. I would definitely agree with him that this is very, very unique. I love the flavor profile on this. I will be going out and buying a bottle if I can find it. Amazing job here, guys, by Bardstown Bourbon Company. So thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. I want to send a big thank you over to Brandon and team at Bardstown Bourbon Company for supplying me with the sample to review on the channel. Guys, I'm going to say it here. Go out and buy this bottle. This is a bottle that, it may not be for everyone. People who tend to shy away from maybe some of the darkness and the oakiness may not like this, but I think you will. I think if you give this bottle a chance, you're gonna like it. I think it has a lot of different flavors. I think there's a lot of different, there's a lot of different aromas to it. There's a lot of different flavors. I think it offers really everything that you could look for in a whiskey. Again, you do get, a little bit of that sweetness on the front of the palate, but really it turns to that dark side, some espresso, some of those oak tannins, some peppers for sure. But I honestly, this in my opinion, I'm going to give, as far as a score, I'm going to give this an 85. This is a fantastic blend. I do want to compare this to the last couple batches in a blind to see which one I like best. I have a feeling this is right up there again with the 6. I think I enjoyed the 6 more than the 7, but I am gonna compare these guys in a blind side by side to see which one I choose as my favorite. But again, score on this one is definitely going to be an 85. So again, amazing job by Bardstown Bourbon Company, and again, big shout out to Brandon and team over there for supplying with the sample to review on the channel. So guys, if you're looking for more reviews like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button, bell notification to be alerted of any upcoming reviews or live streams. You also find me on Instagram at Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. And until next time, guys, stay dusty.